Today we are going to discuss the demise of the Stormfront.
Welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. We post 3 videos a week. Hit that subscribe button to stay updated and visit asart.space for audio, podcast link, and our store. We have some cool boys merch and some other cool artwork that we're collabing with artists, from shirts to coasters, and we're even planning on doing some stickers. Visit asart.space to stay updated. John, we've been reviewing the show, The Boys.
Yes.
We've been doing deepfakes of The Boys. Now we're going to do a prediction. Oh,
a little bit of a deep dive too. So this kind of goes along. If you guys didn't see our Homelander deep dive as far as the character, go and check that one out. But we're also kind of trying to get into the different characters, and we just got a big chunk of information on Stormfront, Liberty, whatever you want to call her.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make predictions on how she might develop as a character and how she might go out as a character. So kind of fun stuff to be able to discuss. Yeah.
So we just finished. This is us coming right off of Season 2, Episode 6. And that's where we got the big reveal where she was deep in the Nazi party. We found out she was the first character to get Compound V. And it's just this whole thing. And also, I think, too, they used or cloned maybe from her to create Homelander, too. Like, I think she's like a clone, or Homelander's a clone. Because I think by cloning, it creates a stronger candidate to receive the whole thing.
Where did you come up with this information? Come on.
Oh, it might be mixing with comic book stuff. I'm sorry. Oops, I'm sorry. That might be a comic book spoiler from Stormfront, who's actually a dude in the comic books. But
wow, that'd be a big reveal for Homelander as well. What?
Spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead. We're gonna get into like some book stuff, maybe if I remember it randomly, because it's been a while since I even covered it. But we're
nothing major, because John does not want spoilers either.
So let's talk about Starlight for a second. We saw that there was, I guess we're finding out her powers work by electricity, maybe, or something.
Because like she repurposes electricity or power.
She absorbs
she's like, there's no electricity here, and Butcher's like, well, that's very convenient, But then they get to the car, and she's able to use the car battery, so it's kind of interesting. So she's limited in her powers, but she's also able to kind of consume what's around her. And Nick goes, well, isn't that convenient? Because Stormfront's all about that.
Yeah, okay. The how I got this idea was the first Avengers movie. You had the fight between Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. And I remember the scene where Thor shocks Iron Man with tons of lightning, and it's like power boost to 10,000, and he's like, he like shot the electricity back. Do you remember that scene? Like when he gets like such a charge, like where it wasn't even hurting him. I'm like, dude, that can happen maybe with Starlight. Maybe Stormfront's just gonna go like all Dark Lord. How does that look like again? Yeah, Dark Lord. With the Emperor. The Emperor is gonna be like, maybe she'll go full Emperor on her, and she's gonna be like looking like she's struggling, but maybe her eyes will start to glow, and then it'll be like, it'll be like Dragon Ball Z. Her hair will go up like over 9,000.
All the Dragon Ball Z stuff, gosh.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like she's like Super Saiyan powers, and she's like Kamehameha. She shoots a Kamehameha beam.
So let's just be clear. So your theory is that that's one way that Stormfront, it seems almost invincible, could get taken down by a lesser soup, is playing to Starlight's kind of strengths then. Yeah.
But I mean, that might also be maybe something we haven't fully discovered about Starlight's power. Maybe something she hasn't discovered. Like, what if she can redirect energy more than just like electricity? So even if it comes to a beam or other stuff like that, I wonder if she can maybe like redirect and I don't know. This is all theorizing. I have no idea.
Well, this goes back to something I like about the series, but is also lacking in the series, is it's not about their superpowers and their skills. It's more about the stories and the drama and the dark comedy, but at the same time, like clearly these powers do play an important role in the story as far as the kind of conflicts they get in and stuff. So you have to wonder what these things are and what the potential ups and downs are, but we don't know within that world if they're actually well known, or we as an audience just focusing on a certain section of which is more the comedy and the character development. So it's kind of, but it'll be fun to see. So, but that's a solid theory because they took the time specifically in some shots in this where she's like, I don't have any power to draw from, and and there was a joke built in there with Butcher, but at the same time, they intentionally, as filmmakers, put beats in there to tell us, like, hey, her power is reliant upon this. And then, like Nick pointed out, in Stormfront, totally, this is, what she uses. Yeah. So it's like it is a significant thing that could become, an arc or a beat, that becomes more important later on. So I thought that was interesting that you thought of that.
Or then maybe she gets weakened and then the female comes and just goes rips the head off.
That's right, because we still probably either the female dies that way, trying to get revenge, or she does get revenge on Stormfront, and it would be likely from the female. And now that they've already kind of established that the female and Starlight have this kind of relationship, maybe that's how they kind of develop that further, is to like kind of get rid of Stormfront.
And then that might be the final switch to send Homelander over the top, and maybe that's when he just starts lasering crowds of people, and there's like no one to stop him. And there's like no one to stop him. Yeah, and then that's when we get to see Black Noir's face, hopefully.
And all that epitomizes and crescendos in, here's Black Noir's face. Part of me keeps thinking that Homelander is eventually going to flip out and want to kill Stormfront, because they've definitely had established that he has a lot of issue with not being the head of attention and things like that. And then maybe this is just him going through a phase of being controlled, but then he starts getting all upset and stuff like that. But from a story point, that does hold a lot of potential in that the female and Starlight, they're already being shown like they're forming a relationship. The female obviously wants to kill Stormfront, and that's a good way that they could get there. And they're kind of explaining the story beats on how the powers might work together in order to do that. So that's actually a good idea. That's a good potential. Yeah.
I can't see Lamplighter doing it. Like, I always think it's so stupid, like not stupid, but like the only way to get his power, like he can't create fire. He can always. I guess it's kind of like Starlight, where like depending if the fire's there, then he can do something. Where like Starlight can only do something if she's in a modern town with buildings and electricity.
Don't take her out to the desert. She's not doing very well.
If she's out in the desert or in the jungle or something, she's doomed unless she has a pack of batteries on her.
And then it's just a little spark.
A generator. She carries a generator with her. The lamplighter, the flame seems pretty powerful. It burnt a freaking hole in the door to let people. I thought he just did like a poof, so it must be like lava fire. I mean, to enable for it to like.
Yeah, that is able to focus it somehow or another. But it's cool that we have him as a character, because Nick had mentioned, lamplighter. I'm like, who the hell is that? Like, I don't remember that. So Nick kind of either knew something from the comics that I didn't know and he didn't spoil it. Thank you. Comments do not spoil this. Or he was just kind of looking and listening really carefully. But we got Lamplighter. And I have to say, Stormfront has become a really fun character. I mentioned this in a previous episode, and when Nick and I did the first trailer breakdown, I wasn't too big on the whole idea of how Stormfront was being presented at the very beginning. But now she's been a very well-developed character, and she's gotten to be a very fascinating character because she has this complex background. That being said, so do you feel like overall, as we're going along, do you feel like the story with all the characters is starting to get a little bit too convoluted and hard to process, or do you think it's still perfectly manageable?
I don't know. We're getting more characters. I always think that's a flaw to stories, is when you get more characters involved. Unless you kill off other ones, which means there might be a killing off of some characters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's not like they're... And the way they're doing it right now, at least from storytelling, this is Stormfront that we're talking about in this video, but we're still kind of talking about the story overall. They've been spending quite a bit of time on Stormfront, developing her as a character, whereas some other characters have scenes. But so the way it seems like they're doing it is like, we're going to spend an episode or two developing just this kind of section about Butcher and his wife. Okay, then we're going to leave that alone for a while, and we're going to go on to other stuff. And so they've been doing a good job of not neglecting characters completely. Some are definitely more central than others, but Stormfront's definitely been an important character because she's playing a big role in the story. She's a new character, yet she's this powerful, so you have to establish her story. So she's definitely, almost been getting as much, if not more, screen time than anybody else, like in this last episode especially.
Yeah. But what happens though once we get all the information we need from a character? Their story's useless at that point. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like how important is the character right now? Like Becca obviously is important because it's connected to Butcher's story, but like we kind of got updated with Becca. There's not much more information we can get from you know, Becca and Butcher and the child and like Homelander's kid and all that stuff. So it's like push it off until next season probably, because there's like no need for us to even touch on this. And I feel like once she already revealed like the history of the company and stuff, maybe by the end of the season she's going to give us more information and backstory stuff on the company. But once we kind of know what we need to know, like how important is this character? Like unless there's a baby involved, or maybe she has a kid with Homelander or something like that, where then it's like, okay, she's more connected and tied into the story now than other than just a fling for Homelander, you know.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely could be one of those important company links. I mean, she's kind of... it's totally funny, with the gentleman from Breaking Bad, that's kind of the company owner, you haven't really seen much of him in this season, aside from episode 1. So I feel like he's such a big actor. I feel like he would come back in at some point, but she's kind of representing the company kind of at this point. So it's kind of interesting that that's been shifted kind of onto her. At least, again, it seems like it. I'm assuming that she was brought in by Vought. Or is connected to Vought, but maybe she just came in unbeknownst to them as far as who she is. I don't know.
They have to know who she is. I feel like she's like the head of the company. Like all the head execs would know her face if she's hasn't aged since whatever age or whatever. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. If she looks the same, yeah.
Unless she did some face surgery. So, anyways, cool. That's our theories, or that's my theory, not ours. John's not gonna take part in this. I've been wrong so many other times on Watchmen, on his Dark Materials.
Nick has tried to tell us that Black Widow and Stranger Things are tied together. I'm just like,
crossover.
No. So anyway, guys, hopefully, if nothing else, some entertaining, fun theories. That's kind of what this is all about. We just want to have fun. Let us know your theories or crazy theories down below as well. Again, try and steer away from comic book lore. We don't want any spoilers for the show, but kind of let us know your thoughts. Go ahead and check out AsArt.space for the audio and video links, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.